The human protected the princess, and the queen desires him as hers. Part 1: The Hired Shield. The ship landed on the crystal platform with a soft hum, stepped out and looked at the palace before him. It was made of something that looked like glass but was harder than steel. The towers reached so high that clouds wrapped around them. Everything was white and silver and cold. He was a human. Here, that meant almost nothing. A guard approached him. The guard was like everyone else on this world. Tall, thin, with skin that looked like polished marble and eyes that glowed soft blue. Beautiful in a way that made humans look rough and ugly by comparison. "You are the mercenary?" the guard asked. His voice was flat. He looked at the way someone might look at a stray animal. "I am," said. "Follow me. Do not speak unless spoken to. Do not touch anything. Do not look at the queen if you see her." Said nothing. He had heard worse. He had survived worse. They walked through halls that seemed to go on forever. Others passed them. Some looked at with curiosity. Most looked at him with disgust. Humans were rare in the empire. They were miners, servants, sometimes soldiers for hire. Never anything important. Was 34 years old. He had spent 15 years as a Marine in the Human Republic forces. Then he had become a mercenary. He had scars on his body that told stories he never spoke about. One long scar ran from his left eye down to his jaw. It made him look dangerous. That was useful in his work. The guard brought him to a smaller chamber. Smaller by standards still meant it was bigger than any room had ever lived in. A woman stood by the window, looking out at the sky. No, not a woman. A girl. She looked young, maybe the equivalent of 18 in human years, though aged differently. Her hair was long and silver, and when she turned around, her eyes were the color of morning light. "You are my new protector?" she asked. Her voice was soft. There was no disgust in it, no coldness. "Yes, Princess," said. "My name is." "I am," she said. She smiled at him. It was a small smile, almost shy. "I have never met a human before, not this close. I hope I am not a disappointment." She laughed. It was a gentle sound. "You are not what I expected. The stories say humans are loud and violent." "Some are," admitted. "I try to be quiet." "I think I will like you." He did not know what to say to that. In his experience, people did not like him. They hired him, used him, and then forgot him. That was how the universe worked. Over the next few days, learned about his new position. Princess was the youngest daughter of Queen. She had 6 older siblings, all of them more important than her. She had no political power. She had no allies in the court. She was, in the eyes of the empire, worthless. That was why they had hired a human to protect her. The royal guard was led by a man named Commander. He was tall even for with cold eyes and a colder voice. He made it clear from the first day that he did not want here. "You are an insult to this palace," said to him. "A human protecting royal blood. It is a joke." "I am not here to make you happy," replied. "I am here to do my job." "Your job?" laughed. "What can a human do that my guards cannot?" "I do not know yet, but I will find out." His eyes narrowed. "You speak boldly for a creature so far from home." "I have no home," said. "That makes me hard to threaten." On the 5th day, challenged him to a sparring match. Understood what this was. It was a test, a way to humiliate him in front of the court. They gathered in the training hall. Dozens of came to watch. Saw Princess in the crowd, her face worried. He gave her a small nod. Removed his outer robe. His body was perfect, like all bodies. He moved with grace that seemed impossible. He took a fighting stance. "I will try not to break you too badly," said. Did not respond. He raised his fists. The fight began. Was fast, faster than any human could ever be. His first strike came like lightning, aimed at its head. Did not try to block it. He moved just enough to let it pass by his ear, then stepped inside's guard. His elbow hits ribs, hard. The The stumbled back, surprise on his face. The crowd went silent. "You are fast," said, "but you have never fought someone who wanted to kill you." Attacked again. This time he was angry. His movements were still beautiful, but there was rage behind them now. Took hits. His lip split. His shoulder burned where a strike landed, but he did not fall. Humans were not fast. Humans were not graceful, but humans were stubborn. Humans could take pain and keep going. Humans had survived ice ages and wars and plagues and the cold emptiness of space. They did not give up. They did not know how. Waited, he watched. He learned the pattern of attacks. Then he struck. One punch to the throat, one kick to the knee, fell. Stood over him, breathing hard. Blood dripped from his lip. His body hurt everywhere, but he was standing and was not. The crowd stared in shock. Then from above, a voice spoke. "Interesting." Everyone turned. Everyone dropped to their knees. Everyone except who did not know he was supposed to kneel. Queen stood on a balcony overlooking the training hall. She was the most beautiful thing had ever seen. Her hair was white like starlight. Her eyes were gold. She wore a crown made of crystal that seemed to float above her head. She was looking at him. "What is your name, human?" she asked. "Your Majesty." She repeated. The way she said it made it sound like music. "You fight well, like an animal. No grace, no beauty, just survival." "Yes, Your Majesty." "I have not been entertained in a very long time," she smiled. It was not a warm smile. It was the smile of someone who had found a new toy. "I will be watching you." She turned and walked away. Stood in the silent hall, bleeding and bruised, and felt something he had not felt in years. Fear. Not of the Queen's power, not of her guards or her empire. He was afraid because, for just a moment when she looked at him, he had wanted her to keep looking. And that kind of desire in a place like this was the most dangerous thing of all. The human protected the princess, and the Queen desires him as hers. Part 2, Shadows in the Crystal. 3 weeks passed. Learned the palace. He learned its halls, its secrets, its rhythms. He learned which guards were lazy and which were sharp. He learned which servants could be trusted and which had eyes that moved too much. Princess was kind to him. Every day she asked him questions about Earth, about humans, about the life he had lived before coming here. He answered when he could. Some questions he did not answer. Some memories were too heavy to share. "Why did you become a soldier?" she asked one evening. They sat in her garden. The flowers here were not like Earth flowers. They glowed softly in colors that had no names in human language. "I had nothing else," said. "No family, no money, no future. The military gave me food and purpose." "That sounds lonely." It was, but loneliness keeps you alive. When you have nothing to lose, you fight harder. Looked at him with those strange, beautiful eyes. "Do you still have nothing to lose?" Thought about it. He thought about this strange girl who smiled at him every morning, who saved him pieces of fruit from her meals, who asked about his scars not with disgust but with concern. "I am not sure anymore," he admitted. A week later, the palace prepared for a great celebration. Ambassadors from 12 star systems would attend. It was a show of power, a display of the Empire's wealth and glory. Security was supposed to be perfect. Did not trust it. He walked the halls at night checking positions. He counted guards. He measured distances. Something felt wrong, but he could not explain what. "You worry too much," Ambassador told him. She was human like him, the only other human in the palace. She had worked here for 10 years and had learned to survive by being invisible. "Worrying has kept me alive," said. "The royal guard has this under control. Commander has planned everything. Hates me. If something happened to the princess, he would not cry." His face grew serious. "Be careful what you say. Walls have ears here." "Let them hear. I will protect her no matter who tries to stop me." The celebration began at sunset. The great hall filled with beings from across the galaxy. Music played, food and drink flowed. Everyone wore their finest clothing. Princess wore a dress of silver that made her look like moonlight given form. Stood behind her watching. He saw a guard standing in the wrong position. The man should have been by the east door, but he was near the center of the room. His hands were empty. That was wrong. Guards always held their weapons at events like this. Looked around. Another guard was missing from the north entrance. A third was watching too closely, his eyes never moving to scan the crowd. Princess said softly, "Stay close to me." "What is wrong?" "I do not know yet, just stay close." The music changed. A slow song began. Couples moved to dance. In the movement and confusion saw it happen. 3 figures shimmered into existence. They had been invisible, hidden by technology that bent light around them. They were dressed in black, their faces covered. Each held a blade that glowed with poison. They moved toward. Did not think. He grabbed the princess and threw her behind him. His body became a wall between her and death. The first assassin reached him. The blade came for his chest, caught the attacker's wrist, twisted and broke it with a sound like snapping wood. He took the blade and put it through the assassin's throat. The second assassin was faster. The poisoned blade cut across side. Fire spread through his blood. He ignored it. Pain was just information. It could wait. He grabbed the second assassin's head and twisted. The neck broke. The body fell. The third assassin was already running, not toward, away, trying to escape. Pulled a blade from a dead hand and threw it. The blade flew across the hall and buried itself in the assassin's back. The figure fell and did not move. The hall was silent. Everyone stared. Stood among 3 bodies, blood pouring from his wound. The poison was spreading. He could feel it in his veins, cold and hungry. "Princess," he said, his voice was calm, "are you hurt?" "No," her voice shook. "You are bleeding." "I know." He took 1 step toward her. The world tilted. His legs forgot how to work. He fell to his knees. Ran to him. She caught him before he could hit the floor. Her hands pressed against his wound, trying to stop the blood. "Someone help him," she screamed, "please." Guards finally moved. Commander pushed through the crowd, his face pale. He had not seen the attack coming. His perfect security had failed. "Get the physicians," ordered, "now." His vision was fading. The poison was winning. He had minutes, maybe less. Then the crowd parted. Queen walked toward them. Her golden eyes were fixed on. There was something in her face that he could not read. Anger, concern, something else. "Your Majesty," began, "I must apologize." "Be silent." The queen knelt beside. A queen did not kneel. Queens did not lower themselves for anyone. But she did, her white gown spreading on the bloody floor. She touched his face. Her fingers were cool. "You saved her," she said. "My job," managed to say. "No, this was more than a job. You threw yourself in front of death for her. No one pays enough for that." She stood and turned to her guards. "Take him to my personal physicians, not the common healers. Mine, I want him alive." "Your Majesty," said, "he is only a human." "He is the only one who did his duty tonight. Your guards failed. Your security failed. But this human did not fail." Her voice was ice. "If he dies because you delayed his treatment, I will have your head on a spike by morning. Do you understand me?" Went white. "Yes, Your Majesty." They lifted carefully, held his hand as they carried him away. "Do not die," she whispered. "Please. You are the only one who sees me as a person and not a princess. Please do not leave me alone." Tried to answer, but the darkness took him and he fell into nothing. He dreamed of fire. He dreamed of screaming. He dreamed of a mountain pass and bodies piled high. He dreamed of the 19 hours that had made him a legend and broken him forever. When he woke, 3 days had passed. He was alive. And sitting beside his bed, watching him with golden eyes, was the queen. "Welcome back," she said. "We have much to discuss." The human protected the princess, and the queen desires him as hers. Part 3. The queen's attention. Tried to sit up. His body screamed at him to stop. The wound in his side burned like someone had filled it with fire. "Do not move," Queen said. "You almost died. Your body needs time." The princess. "She is safe because of you." The queen studied him with those golden eyes. "She has visited you every day. She refused to leave your side for the first 2 days. I had to order her to sleep. She is kind. She is soft. In this court, softness is weakness." The queen paused. "But you already know that. You protect her softness. You let yourself be hard so she does not have to be." Said nothing. She was right. The queen stood and walked to the window. The light made her skin glow like pearl. "I have ruled this empire for 400 years, she said. "I have seen species rise and fall. I have watched stars die. In all that time, I have never seen a creature like you. I am just a human." "No, humans are everywhere. Miners, servants, soldiers, they work, they die, they are forgotten, but you are different." She turned to face him. "Tell me about." His blood went cold. "How do you know about that?" "I am the queen. I know everything that happens in my empire. A human colony caught between 2 alien armies. 3,000 civilians with nowhere to run. A single marine who held a mountain pass for 19 hours while the evacuation ships loaded. I was doing my job. You killed over 200 enemy soldiers, alone, with nothing but a rifle and your will." Her voice was soft now. "When they found you, you were standing in a wall of bodies. You had been shot 11 times. You had broken bones in both hands from fighting, and you were still standing. 847 people made it to the ships. That is all that matters." "That is not all that matters. What you did was impossible. My own royal guard could not have done it. No could have done it." She moved closer to him. "Tell me how." Closed his eyes. The memories came like waves. Blood, screaming, the sound of ships taking off while he held the line. "I did not think about living," he said finally. "I did not think about dying. I only thought about the people behind me. Every time I wanted to fall, I thought about them. Children, families, people who deserve to see another sunrise." "And what did you deserve?" "Nothing. I was a soldier. Dying was part of the job." The queen was silent for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was strange, almost gentle. "You have served my daughter well, but I want you to serve me." Opened his eyes. "What?" "Be my personal guard. Stand beside my throne. I will give you rank and wealth. You will be the highest human in the history of this empire." "And princess?" "She will have a new protector, one of my best guards." Thought about it. He thought about the power being offered, the honor, the chance to matter in a universe that had always treated him like nothing. Then he thought about her smile, her questions, the way she had held his hand while he bled. "No." The queen's eyes widened. "What did you say?" "I said no. I will not leave the princess." Silence filled the room. Waited for anger. He waited for punishment. Queens did not hear the word no, not ever. But Queen did not look angry. She looked fascinated. "No one refuses me," she said. "Not in 400 years. I am sorry, Your Majesty, but my duty is to. I made a promise. I do not break promises. Even when breaking them would give you everything you could want. What I want does not matter. What I promise does." The queen laughed. It was not a cruel laugh. It was the laugh of someone who had just discovered something new. "You are remarkable, truly remarkable." She moved toward the door. "I will not force you, but I will not stop wanting you either, and I am very patient." She left. Let out a breath he did not know he was holding. Later that day, Princess came to see him. She brought human food that Ambassador had found for her. rice and vegetables and something that was almost like beef. "You turned down," my mother said. Her eyes were red. She had been crying. "You know about that." "Everyone knows. The servants are talking about nothing else. The human who said no to the queen." She sat beside his bed. "Why did you do it? You could have had everything." "I promised to protect you. Everything else is just noise." Tears fell down her cheeks. "No one has ever chosen me before. My brothers and sisters are important. I am just the extra daughter, the one who does not matter." "You matter to me." She took his hand. Her fingers were delicate and warm. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for seeing me." That night Ambassador visited him. Her face was serious. "You have made powerful enemies," she said. "The nobles are whispering. They say the queen's interest in you is inappropriate. They say you are using some kind of human manipulation on her." "I have done nothing." "I know, but truth does not matter here. Politics matters. Image matters." Sat on the edge of his bed. "The queen's interest is dangerous. When she wants something, she usually gets it. And when she cannot get it, she sometimes destroys it instead." "You think she will hurt me?" "I think she does not know what to do with you. That makes you unpredictable. And unpredictable things in this court do not survive long." "I have survived worse." "Have you?" Looked at him with sad eyes. "The incident broke you. I can see it. You walk through life like you are already dead. What happens when you find something worth living for? What happens when you have something to lose again?" Did not answer. He did not know the answer. Meanwhile, Commander sat in his quarters, reading files. The assassination attempt had embarrassed him. The Queen's anger had humiliated him. He needed someone to blame. The human was perfect. He read about military service. He read about the years after, the mercenary work, the jobs that had left bodies across multiple star systems. Then he found something interesting. A mission 6 years ago, a transport ship, 17 passengers. All dead. Smiled. "Let us see how the Queen feels about her human when she learns what he really is," he said to himself. He began to plan. The human protected the princess, and the Queen desires him as hers. Part 4: The Truth of. 2 weeks after the assassination attempt, was strong enough to walk again. His wound had healed, but the scar would stay forever. Another mark on a body already covered with stories. He returned to his duties. Princess was happy to have him back. She followed him around the palace like a small bird following a larger one. "You should rest more," she said. "I have rested enough. My job is to protect you, not to sleep." "You are very stubborn." "That is why I am still alive." But something was wrong in the palace. Could feel it. The servants whispered when he passed. The nobles watched him with dark eyes. Even Commander seemed calmer than usual, like a predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The Queen summoned him to her private chambers. It was late at night. The palace was quiet. Her room was beautiful. Everything was silver and white and glass. She sat on a chair by the window looking at the stars. "Come in," she said. "Sit with me." He sat across from her. Even sitting, she was graceful. Even in simple clothes, she looked like a goddess. "Commander has been investigating you," she said. "He found something. He plans to present it to the court tomorrow." Stomach tightened. What did he find? "A mission, 6 years ago, the transport, 17 passengers." Her golden eyes met his. "All dead, and you were the only survivor." The memories hit him like a hammer. The ship, the darkness, the screaming. "It is not what it looks like," he said. "Then tell me what it is." Closed his eyes. He had never told anyone this story. He had carried it alone for 6 years, a weight that never got lighter. "I was hired to protect the ship," he began. 17 passengers, families, children. They were refugees fleeing a war zone. Someone wanted them dead. I did not know who. I did not ask." He paused. The memories were sharp like broken glass. Pirates attacked us 3 days into the journey. They boarded the ship. They were not there to rob us. They were there to kill everyone. And you fought them. Yes, for hours I killed as many as I could, but there were too many and I was only one man. His voice cracked. The captain made a decision. He sealed the passenger compartment, locked everyone inside. Then he opened the outer doors. He killed his own passengers. He thought the pirates would leave if there was no one left to kill. He thought it would save the crew. His hands were shaking. I tried to stop him. I was too late. The doors opened. The air was gone in seconds. 17 people, including 8 children, died while I watched through a window. What did you do? I killed the captain. I killed every pirate on that ship, every single one. His eyes were empty. When the rescue ships found me, I was alone. The official report said I was a hero. I stopped the pirates. I survived against impossible odds, but I did not save anyone. I failed. All those children are dead because I was not fast enough. Silence filled the room. Queen stood and walked to him. She knelt before him, just as she had done when he was bleeding on the floor of the great hall. You carry this guilt like chains, she said softly. You punish yourself every day for something that was not your fault. It was my job to protect them. And you tried. You fought until there was no one left to fight. The captain's choice was not yours. She touched his face. Her fingers were gentle. This is why you protect my daughter so fiercely. You are trying to save those children through her. Could not speak. She had seen right through him. All his walls, all his armor, and she had seen the broken man underneath. We'll use this against you tomorrow, she said. He will say you are dangerous. He will say you are a killer who failed his duty. He will demand your execution. What will you do? That depends on you. She leaned closer. Do you trust me? I do not know. Honest, I like that, she smiled. Trust me tomorrow. When things go wrong, trust me. She stood and returned to her chair. Now go get some rest. Tomorrow will be difficult. Left her chambers with more questions than answers. The next morning, Princess met him in the hallway. Her face was pale. Has called a court assembly, she said. He says he has evidence that you are a threat to the Empire. I know. What are you going to do? Face it, running does not solve anything. But if they find you guilty, then I will die knowing I did nothing wrong. He put a hand on her shoulder. Whatever happens, know that protecting you was the best thing I ever did. You gave me purpose when I had none. Tears filled her eyes. We should go, they are waiting. The court was full. Every noble in the palace had come to watch. Commander stood at the center, looking proud and satisfied. Announced, you are accused of dereliction of duty resulting in the deaths of 17 innocent people. You are accused of being a danger to this court and to the princess you claim to protect. Stood tall. I deny nothing about what happened on that ship, but I am not guilty of the crime you describe. 17 people died under your protection. 17 people died because of a coward captain and a pirate attack. I killed every enemy on that ship. I could not save the passengers because someone else chose to murder them. You expect us to believe that? I expect nothing from you, Commander. I know what happened. I live with it every day. The nobles whispered among themselves, smiled. It does not matter what really happened. You failed. Failures cannot protect royalty. I demand your execution. The whispers grew louder. Many nobles nodded in agreement. Then Queen stood. Everyone went silent. She said, her voice filling the hall, you have been accused of failure. Commander demands your death. What do you say? Looked at her. He remembered her words, trust me. I say let the truth be judged by combat, he said. If Commander believes I am unworthy, let him prove it himself. Gasps filled the hall. His face went red. You dare challenge me? No, Queen said. He invokes the ancient right, trial by champion. Her golden eyes gleamed. And I will be his sponsor. If loses, he dies. But if he wins, all charges are dismissed and Commander faces judgment for bringing false accusations to my court. Sputtered, Your Majesty, this is my court, my law, my choice. She looked at with something that might have been pride. Tomorrow at sunrise, prepare your champion, Commander. The human will fight for his life. She turned and walked away. Stood in the silent hall, surrounded by enemies, and for the first time in years he felt something like hope. The human protected the princess, and the queen desires him as hers. Part 5: The Crown's Choice. The night before the trial did not sleep. He sat in his small room and looked at his hands. These hands had killed hundreds of enemies. These hands had failed to save the people who mattered. Tomorrow, these hands would decide his fate. Princess came to him at midnight. She brought food and medicine and worry in her eyes. You should not be here, said, if someone sees you. I do not care, she sat beside him. Has chosen his champion. They call him, he is not natural. He was built in laboratories, stronger than 10, faster than any living thing. I know. How can you be so calm? He will kill you. Looked at her. This girl who had become like a sister to him. This princess who saw him as a person when everyone else saw a tool. I have faced death many times, he said. Death does not scare me anymore. Only failure does. You will not fail. I believe in you. That means more than you know. She hugged him. It was awkward and warm and human in a way that nothing else in this palace was. Win tomorrow, she whispered. Please, I cannot lose you too. At sunrise, the arena filled with spectators. The fighting pit was ancient, carved from black stone that had seen 1,000 duels. Blood had soaked into every crack. Walked in wearing simple clothes. No armor, no weapons. In a trial by combat, you fought with what the arena provided. Across from him waited. The champion was massive, 3 meters tall with muscles that seemed carved from metal. His eyes were empty. He had been created for one purpose, to kill. Queen sat on her throne above the arena. Princess sat beside her, her hands clasped tight. Commander stood nearby, smiling with confidence. The trial begins, the queen announced. Fight until one cannot stand. May fate show us the truth. A bell rang. Moved. Had never seen anything so fast. One moment the giant was across the arena. The next moment, a fist the size of his head was flying toward his face. He dodged barely. The wind from the punch cut his cheek. Attacked again, and again. Each strike was powerful enough to shatter stone. Moved and dodged and retreated, using every trick he had learned in 15 years of war. But he could not dodge forever. A blow caught his ribs. He felt them crack. He flew backward and hit the arena wall. Blood filled his mouth. Get up, human said. His voice was mechanical, cold. Get up so I can kill you properly. Stood, pain screamed through his body. He ignored it. Is that all you have? He asked. Attacked again. This time did not dodge. He stepped into the attack. The giant's fist hit his shoulder. More bones broke, but was inside his guard now. He drove his palm into his throat. The giant stumbled, just a little, but it was enough. Attacked, his fists hit kidneys, joints, nerve clusters. He was not strong enough to hurt the giant through force, but he knew where the weak points were. Every creature had them. Roared and grabbed by the throat. He lifted the human like a toy and slammed him into the ground. Once, twice, 3 times. The world blurred, tasted blood. His vision darkened. But he did not stop. Humans are not fast. Humans are not strong, but humans do not stop. They cannot stop. It is not in their nature. Reached up and dug his fingers into his eyes. The giant screamed and dropped him, rolled away, gasping for air. In the stands, Princess was crying. Ambassador held her hand. On the throne, Queen watched with golden eyes that burned with something fierce. stood again, his left arm hung useless, his ribs ground together with every breath. Blood covered his face. "I will not fall," he said, "not until you do." Was blind now, stumbling, reaching for the human who had hurt him, circled him slowly. He remembered. He remembered the mountain pass. He remembered standing in bodies for 19 hours because people were counting on him. Was counting on him now. He attacked. He hit the giant's knee. The joint bent the wrong way, fell, climbed onto his back and wrapped his arm around the giant's throat. Thrashed, he threw himself against walls trying to crush the human, held on. Blood poured from his wounds. His vision narrowed to a tunnel. But he did not let go. Seconds passed, minutes, an eternity. His movement slowed, stopped. The giant fell forward unconscious. Released him and stood. He looked up at the queen. "I'm still standing," he said. Then his legs gave out and he collapsed. When he woke, he was in the medical wing again. Princess sat beside him, asleep in her chair. Ambassador stood by the door. "You won," said. "Has been arrested." The queen found evidence that he helped plan the assassination attempt on. He was working with Lord to destabilize the throne. "Good. You are famous now. The human who defeated an engineered warrior, the human who would not fall." She smiled sadly. "You will never be invisible again." "I never wanted to be invisible. I just wanted to do my job." Days later, when he could walk again, Queen summoned him to her private garden. It was night. The stars were bright above them. "You have earned anything you want," she said. "Name it. Wealth, power, a ship to take you far from here. I want to stay with the princess." "Still," she laughed softly, "I offer you the universe and you choose to guard my youngest daughter. She needs me, no one else does." The queen moved closer. She was beautiful in the starlight, 400 years old and still more radiant than anything had ever seen. "I need you," she said quietly. "I have ruled alone for centuries. I have had servants and soldiers and nobles who fear me, but I have never had someone who would say no to me, someone who would fight for what is right even when it cost him everything." Looked at her, really looked at her, past the crown and the power and the golden eyes. He saw loneliness. He saw a woman who had built walls around herself so high that no one could reach her. "You do not need a servant," he said. "You need a friend." "I do not know how to have friends." "Neither do I, but maybe we can learn together." She laughed again. This time it was warmer, more real. "Stay then," she said. "Guard my daughter, but visit me sometimes. Talk to me. Remind me what it means to be more than a crown." "I can do that." She reached out and touched his face. Her fingers were gentle. "You are a strange creature, stubborn and broken and impossibly brave." "I am just human." "No," she said softly, "you are so much more than that." She turned and walked back to the palace, her white hair flowing behind her. Watched her go, then he looked up at the stars. He thought about all the people he had failed to save. He thought about all the scars he carried. He thought about the long, lonely years that had brought him to this strange place. And for the first time in a very long time, he thought about the future. Maybe there was still something worth fighting for. Maybe there was still something worth living for. He walked back inside, where was waiting with a smile, where a queen watched from her window, where an impossible life had somehow become home. The human had protected the princess. And in doing so, he had found something he had lost long ago. Hope.